On a cold, rainy evening in the city, Emma hurried home after a long day at work. Her coat offered little protection against the wind, but her mind was on the tasks awaiting her at home. As she walked past a dark alley, she noticed a small boy curled up against a trash bin, shivering violently. His clothes were tattered, and his face was streaked with dirt and tears. Most people passed by without a second glance, but Emma felt a tug at her heart. Without hesitation, she knelt beside him and gently offered her scarf. "Hey there, are you okay?" she asked softly. The boy looked up, his eyes wide and filled with fear. She could see the desperation in his gaze, the emptiness that came from days without food or shelter. Emma knew she couldn't just walk away. She bought him a warm meal from a nearby cafe, and as he ate, she listened to his story. His parents had died in an accident, and he had been surviving on the streets ever since. She felt a deep, unexplainable connection to him, and in that moment, decided she couldn't leave him behind. She took him home that night, offering him warmth, safety, and hope, a rare gift for a boy who had known nothing but struggle. The days that followed were a delicate dance of adjustment and discovery. For Alex, the boy Emma had rescued, the world felt strange and overwhelming. Every corner of Emma's apartment, the soft couch, the warm blankets, the hum of the heater, was foreign. At first, he hesitated to touch anything, fearful of being scolded or shooed away. But Emma moved with gentle patience, never forcing him, simply showing by example how to live in a space that was safe and kind. Meals became small rituals. She would cook simple, nourishing dishes, encouraging him to eat without rushing. At first, he picked at the food nervously, unsure if he had permission to take more than a bite. But slowly, as days turned into weeks, he began to relax, his appetite returning along with his sense of safety. Emma watched him carefully, her heart lifting with each small victory, a full meal eaten without fear, a laugh escaping his lips at a joke she told, a hesitant but genuine smile. Education became another challenge. Alex had missed years of schooling, and the world of letters and numbers seemed like an insurmountable mountain. But Emma refused to give up. She tutored him patiently, day after day, sometimes staying up late into the night to help him catch up. She celebrated every achievement, learning to read a full sentence, solving a math problem, writing his first story, with quiet pride, reinforcing the idea that he was capable, intelligent, and deserving of success. Socially, Alex was cautious. Encounters with neighbors or other children initially left him anxious. He flinched at sudden movements and spoke in low, careful tones. Emma never scolded him. Instead, she modeled kindness, encouraging him to interact, to trust, to take small steps. Gradually, he began to make friends, sharing toys and laughter, discovering the joy of connection that had been absent for so long. Through it all, a bond blossomed between them, a bond stronger than blood, forged through trust, compassion, and shared life. Emma never demanded gratitude, and Alex never felt pressured. Yet, in every glance, every touch, every word of quiet encouragement, their connection deepened. The boy who had once trembled in fear now felt secure enough to dream, to hope, and to believe in the possibility of a better life. Years passed, and Alex grew into a remarkable young man. The timid, fearful boy who had once huddled in an alley had transformed into someone confident, ambitious, and sharp-minded. Emma had given him a foundation of love, safety, and education, but it was Alex's own determination, intelligence, and resilience that propelled him forward. He absorbed every lesson, excelled academically, and nurtured an insatiable curiosity about the world around him. By the time he reached his teenage years, Alex had already demonstrated exceptional talent in problem-solving and entrepreneurship. He would spend hours reading business books, learning about investments, and experimenting with small ventures, selling handmade items, tutoring younger students, and eventually starting online projects that earned him modest profits. Emma supported him at every step, celebrating his successes and encouraging him through failures, never letting him forget that setbacks were opportunities to learn. Despite his growing intellect and ambition, Alex never lost sight of where he came from. The memory of cold nights on the streets, the pangs of hunger, and the fear of being alone remained vivid in his mind. Those experiences shaped his character, instilling empathy, humility, and an unwavering sense of gratitude toward the woman who had saved him. He often reflected on the moments when Emma had gone out of her way to protect him, feed him, and nurture his potential. By his mid-20s, Alex had become a highly successful entrepreneur, running companies that not only generated immense wealth but also aimed to improve lives through innovation, education, and opportunity. His name began appearing in business journals, and he was invited to speak at conferences, sharing insights that inspired others. Yet, despite the fame and financial success, Alex's greatest pride was his connection to Emma. He often returned home to visit her, not out of obligation but out of deep, genuine affection. Each visit was a reminder of the life-changing kindness she had shown him and the promise he had made to himself, to honor her generosity by building a life that mattered. On a crisp autumn morning, Alex walked down the same streets he had once wandered as a scared, hungry child. The city had changed, and so had he. The wind carried a hint of nostalgia, rustling the fallen leaves along the sidewalks. In his heart, he carried a sense of purpose heavier than any briefcase or contract he had ever held. He was about to return to the woman who had changed his life forever. Emma opened the door, surprised to see him standing there, dressed in a tailored suit that spoke of success, confidence, and power. For a brief moment, she barely recognized the young man who had once trembled in her arms. His eyes, however, were unmistakable. They held the same vulnerability she had first seen years ago, now tempered by strength, wisdom, and gratitude. "Emma," Alex began, his voice steady but thick with emotion, "I've never forgotten what you did for me. You gave me life when I had none. You saved me from despair and showed me what it means to be human. Today, I want to give back." He handed her an envelope. Hesitant, Emma took it, her fingers trembling slightly. Inside were documents that granted her financial security beyond her wildest dreams, enough to live comfortably, pursue her passions, and never worry about money again. But alongside the material gift was something even more valuable, a letter detailing Alex's journey, the impact of her kindness, and the deep, unshakable love and respect he had for her. Emma sank into her chair, tears streaming down her face, as she read his words. Memories of that cold night, the boy shivering in the alley, and the uncertain future they had faced together came rushing back. She could hardly believe the transformation, the full circle of generosity and compassion. Alex knelt beside her, placing a gentle hand on hers. "You didn't just save me from hunger, Emma. You saved me from hopelessness. You gave me belief in goodness, in people, in life itself. I will never be able to repay you fully, but I want you to live your life free from worry. That's the least I can do." Emma pulled him into a tight embrace, feeling the warmth, gratitude, and love she had sown years ago now returned to her a hundredfold. In that moment, they both understood that true kindness has a way of rippling through time, transforming lives in ways no one could predict. The act of compassion that had begun in an alley had grown into a lifelong bond, proving that even the smallest gestures can create miracles.